Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at the top 10 teams for the Spring Cup coming up now. Spring Cup going to be a cup that's going to be available for the Open Great League, only allowing you to use a water, grass, as well as a fairy type Pokemon, not allowing you to use a Mantine or the Toxapex though, because they would be too broken. Of course, if you enjoy this videos, I would really appreciate if you would leave a like and subscribe. We're getting closer to 75,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate if you would do this, and we can move right into the meta analysis. Taking a look at the meta for the Spring Cup, you're going to see at number 1 the Weezing. Weezing is basically a Swiss Army knife. You can put this Pokemon literally everywhere. Usually as a say-so, but you can put it literally everywhere because it's going to have next to no answers. Tentacruel seems to be an answer, but honestly you're going to have coverage for basically everything. Ferrothorn going to be pretty high. Interesting Pokemon as well. We're going to have a lot of teams coming up with this one. Obama's not very decent, of course. In a meta where you're going to only have fairy type, water type, and grass type Pokemon, you're going to have a lot of Pokemon up there that can beat two types. For example, Snow can beat other grass type Pokemon and other water type Pokemon, which is kind of nice. Empoleon, of course, kind of high up here as well with the new moveset. And yeah, Steel Ring in general going to help out quite a bit, way better than Waterfall would have been. Pelipper still very good, especially now as Mantine got banned. This Pokemon definitely has a lot of potential, and we're gonna see here, like we see it's not really a lot of Pokemon that you can really use. It's going to have a lot of potential. Poliwrath is something that you kind of have to keep in mind as well. It's a little bit lower, but I feel like it has a lot of potential as well. Feraligatr, don't really think it's going to have too much of potential for this meta, just because there are so many grass type Pokemon. I don't think it's going to be the greatest. I think it's still possible to play this Pokemon, but yeah, we don't really have a team for this one. Quillfish very cool though, with Awkward Tear and Poison Sting, but it's basically for this one, it's going to be just water and grass type Pokemon mainly. If we take a look at the fairy type Pokemon, they're actually going to be here. We're going to see that Weezing, of course, is very decent. Carbink, we have a team for this. Ninetales, I don't really know if Charm is really that viable, as there are a lot of Pokemon that are going to be able to resist fairy type moves sadly as well, so they're not too great. It's only basically Weezing and Carbink. But yeah, that's going to do it for the meta. Hope you enjoyed this one, but let's move right into the teams. Before we hop into the first team, of course, you can still support the channel by the membership program, but if you're not interested in this, let's move on right into the team number 1. We're going to have a team here that is going to be with a Lantern, a Weezing, as well as the Snow, as you most I saw already. For the meta analysis there, we saw that the Weezing is really good, especially as a safe swap in this current meta. And this meta in general is kinda cursed. Like, this is going to be a very small meta and a very RPS meta as well. There are Pokemon like Snow, like Tropius, which can beat other grass type Pokemon, which is cool. There is like Lantern, which can beat other water type Pokemon, which is cool. And there's Weezing, which is just going to be very neutral, but don't really blame me. A lot of the teams that are coming up going to be very similar. It is the meta that we are playing in right now. It is very difficult to have like a lot of unique teams. Still, maybe try to have some fun with this cup though, especially because it's going to be available for 2 weeks, I think. So going to be interesting there, especially as the second week is going to have the Master League as well, even though there are some Pokemon I want to showcase here. Here, this is going to be one of the best teams that you can use. Looks on paper literally perfect, so definitely something that I can recommend to you, but you can also flip it around, go for the Snow lead, and have the Lantern in the back. Team number 2, we're going to have here something around the Empoleon, the Diogong. Diogong, honestly, I feel like has a lot of potential in this cup, and the Trevenant. Very classic line. I kind of want to have something around Empoleon because Empoleon seems to be very cool, especially now with the buffed steering. This Pokemon has a lot of potential, as you can see here on paper as well. Great Pokemon to use. Trevenant has some potential. It's again a Pokemon that is grass type that can beat other grass types, which you see here as well, but also going to be kind of able to beat most of the water types that are currently available. And it's just very neutral against a lot of Pokemon, which is really cool. So definitely something that you can use if you want to. Team number 3, we kind of have this flipped around. We're going to have the Empoleon this time around in the lead. We have the say swap of the Golisopod, and I feel like you could even flip it around again and go for Trevenant lead and Golisopod say swap, because I don't think there are really any dark or normal types, at least as far as I can really remember, that are available. So kind of Shadow Claw spam is kind of free right now in this meta. But yeah, this team definitely should work out pretty well for you as well. Again, like, I can talk a little bit about these teams, but it is just going to be a very stale and like, I don't know, like very small meta, I have to say. Like, Empoleon going to be great, the Trevenant going to be great, but there's not really a lot of creativity really possible for this one, I feel like, but maybe I'm wrong with that, who knows. But let's move on to team number 4. Ferrothorn is also a cool Pokemon to use, especially with Flash Cannon allowing you to again beat other Grass-type Pokemon, going to be able to one-shot something like the Obama Snow, which is kind of cool. Weezing says up again, like you can literally go for every team, and if you just miss one Pokemon, put Galarian Weezing in there. Doesn't matter if it's an elite, doesn't matter if it's like a closer, doesn't matter if it's like a say-swap. Weezing is just literally a free Pokemon for this meta. There's no Pokemon that really hardwalls it. Everything is going to kind of get neutral damage from the Brutal Swing or the Overheat. So this Pokemon is super free. Definitely a solid pick no matter where you want to run it. And again, here we're just going to have a Grass type that's going to be weak to counter users, where it's only really the what's called the Poliwrath, which is available as a counter user. I think Breloom is also available, but Poliwrath actually going to be a solid Pokemon as well. We're gonna see that later in 2 teams, but yeah, this is looking fairly decent. We can move on to the next team. Team number 5, look again, it's a Trevenant. Trevenant, Quillfish, and Carbink. I want to try to build a team around Carbink. Best Pokemon to build around with Carbink is Trevenant. It was already in the Open Great League. Now we also have here the Quillfish with the buffed Aqua Tail, which is kind of decent and looks solid on paper again. Like this team looks really good on paper. Don't know if it's going to be actually really good, but I feel like Carbink is a little bit underrated. I kind of want to take a look at this Pokemon again, as in the Open Great League you barely really see this, so maybe I'm going to build another team around Carbink as well in the Open Great League when this comes back. But yeah, if you want to run your Carbink again because you haven't run it in a long time, this might be it for you, but again, it is what it is. By the way, I don't have any team here as well. I don't know if I said this in the meta review, which I'm going to talk about actually after I talk about the teams. I don't really have anything for Feraligatr here. You can run Feraligatr maybe as well as a say swap, but it's not really looking too great for this meta, just because, yeah, I don't know, it's just a pure water type, and like you kind of always want to have water types that beat grass type Pokemon or like beat a fairy type Pokemon, like we have here with like the water and poison typing. So Feraligatr you can try out, might not be the best Pokemon for this meta though. Team number 6, we're going to have something around Serperior. Serperior is pretty highly ranked on PvPoke as well, so I kind of want to put it here in team number 6. Going to be a solid pick as well again, but yeah, you're going to have some issues against other grass-type Pokemon. You're still going to have Aerial Ace, which is going to allow you to hit some of the grass-type Pokemon, like the Trevenant, which is kind of cool. Saysop, Quillfish, Pelipper in the back should work out pretty well. Basically, Serperior going to be your lead against something like also Lantern. You kind of want to have this out. Quillfish, Saysop going to be able to bait out a Lantern, and then he hopefully can sweep and came with Pelipper. Pelipper really cool, especially as you know already that Mantine got banned, so Pelipper must be really decent, as it's going to be having the same typing and very similar coverage. So very cool Pokemon for this meta. Team number 7, we're going to have a team around Obama Stone again, Lantern in the back here. Quillfish, Saysop. I don't know, like I cannot really talk too much about it. Like it is a water type and grass type meta mainly. There are a few fairy type Pokemon that have some play, but most of the grass type and water type Pokemon are really great against fairy types as well, which makes it difficult to run something like an Alolan Ninetales, something like a Wigglytuff. So I don't know, this is going to be a very tough meta in general for those fairy type Pokemon, I feel like. So I don't know, let's move on to the next one. Of course, one of the fairy type Pokemon that is not really in that role is going to be Weezing, just because you basically don't do anything as a fairy type here. And the poison weakness is gone from Weezing as well, which like would be commonly a weakness for a fairy type Pokemon. So I feel like Weezing is definitely solid. Here we're gonna start off with the Poliwrath. Doesn't matter if it's Shadow or not, but what does matter is that you want to run Dynamic Punch on this Pokemon, which I find is kind of interesting. Dynamic Punch, very cool. But honestly, this is like again a standard team that you can run around Poliwrath. More interesting is team number 9. This is my favorite team just because it's a little bit different. I kind of want to try to have a little bit of a funny one here with the Quaquaval as well as the Poliwrath. Quaquaval actually has some potential in this meta, as you can see. This Pokemon has access to Aerial Ace and Close Combat plus a Wing Attack, so you're a water type that can bait out grass type Pokemon while having a super effective fast move and super effective charge moves against it, which I find kind of cool. By the way, for the people that are wondering where Victreebel is, I don't think Victreebel is great either, because like again you have those Abomasnows everywhere, you have Pelipper, you have Tropius, you have Ferrothorn, you have Weezing, all of those Pokemon are going to be great against the Victory Bell, so I don't think it's going to be a great Pokemon to use. But yeah, team number 9, last team here going to be the team number 10, and it's going to be with the Mawile. I feel like that Lantern might be a little bit better than the Empoleon here actually, but I still put Empoleon in there because Empoleon is funnier. Going to give you a little bit of a better matchup against other Lanterns as well, with the Lantern as well as the Poliwrath. But yeah, that's going to be it for this team, but there's still something here at the end. It's going to be the graphic from, Dracoviz, so definitely something interesting as well, maybe if you want to use those teams. I don't know, I think they changed a little bit around here as well. Some of them are the teams you saw already in this meta, or like in this video, so definitely check those teams out. Hope this video helped you out a little bit. Again, not too interested in this cup. It's going to be a little bit of a trickier cup, very close meta. Wish they added like 2 more types or something towards it, but it is what it is. Hope you still enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.